Okay, the board just returned from closed session, and while in closed session, the board took action to approve the August 18, 2022 final settlement agreement and general release between parents and the Duarte Unified School District for case number 2022-BF, pursuant to which the district has agreed to an educational placement for students based on the agreement, and students' parents have agreed to withdraw their appeal and to release claims against the district as specified in the agreement. The vote was taken in closed session, and it was moved by Mr. Bell, second by Dr. Finlay. It was 5-0. Additionally, the board took action to ratify the August 18, 2022 final settlement agreement and general release between parents and the Duarte Unified School District for the case number 2022-EF, pursuant to which the district has agreed an educational placement for a student based on the agreement, and students' parents have agreed to withdraw their appeal and to release claims against the district as specific in the agreement. The vote was moved by Mr. Bell and second by Mrs. Carroll, and the vote was 5-0. Okay, I will call the meeting to order at 7:13. Is that the good time? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Bell?
Present.
Mrs. Carroll? Here. Dr. Finlay?
Present.
Mr. Figueroa?
Present.
And Reina Diaz here. I would like to ask Dr. Finlay, and if you can please lead us in the flag salute, then followed by the list, vision, and mission. Thank you.
Everyone face the flag. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
All right, our beliefs. We believe we are a community of learners. We believe learning occurs in a culture of caring and respect. We believe all students are motivated to learn when they are engaged in meaningful work that connects to their lives. We believe expectations do influence performances and outcomes. We believe learning increases when there are high expectations for performance and conduct. We believe that we have the responsibility to find solutions that enable all students to learn. Our vision is 21st century schools producing 21st century students, and our mission is to provide the knowledge, skills, and inspiration for each student for success in college, career, and life.
Thank you, Dr. Finlay. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Move to approve.
Moved by Mr. Bell.
Second.
Second by Mr. Figueroa. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We move to superintendent report. Dr. Emerson.
Thank you, Madam President. It is a real privilege to give the superintendent's report tonight in the wake of the opening of our schools for this year. So the way I'll characterize my sense or my feeling about how the school year started, I'll just say that there's a great level of energy across the school district. And it was interesting because the beginning, leading up to this, as members of the board know and folks from the community that are here, we have an annual event called Convocation. And our Convocation event is bringing all of our staff together to meet each other, have our schools and faculties reconnect, introduce new staff members, and then I have the privilege of preparing some remarks to create some inspiration and kind of kick off the school year. But interestingly enough, that same morning, Telemundo did a highlight and a spotlight on their morning show of our schools. And there was just a great showcase of what our schools are doing, and really showcasing that for our Latino community. The very next day, after convocation, and convocation was awesome. The energy, like I said, was great. Our principals, Dr. Hillman's energy, the entire event just went off without a hitch. So we'll decide whether we want to ask Mr. Crosby to come back in and see next year or not. That's still an open question. But I digress. The next day on the opening of school, we actually had a showcase article in the San Gabriel Tribune. So the San Gabriel Valley Tribune wrote an article, again, talking about the anticipation, the energy, the positivity that was going on across the district. And then today, this morning, in the San Gabriel Valley Tribune, was another article about Duarte High School, specifically about Measure S and the sports complex that's being built. And so I had the privilege of being interviewed for that piece, as well as Mr. Haro, our high school principal. And so I started contemplating what I wanted to say to the board and to the community tonight, and what I landed on is there's a buzz, and there is a lot of opportunity for us to showcase the great things that are happening here in our schools and here in our community. And it goes back to the comments that I made during convocation, which is our vision for moving forward. Duarte Rise 2030, resilient, innovative scholars striving for excellence. And it's this entire community that can create that. It's not the superintendent, it's not the superintendent's staff, and with all due respect, it's not the board, it's the students, it's the staff, it's the community at writ large that creates this buzz, and then we just can help to steward that and help to mobilize and tell everybody about the good things that are happening in our district. And so then it carried over to back to school nights, back to school night at Royal Oaks, back to school, 2 nights of back to school nights at Maxwell, showcasing their IB primary years program, their IB middle years program, and then another back to school night last night at Valley View. And just the attendance, the energy, the positivity from parents, from staff, and mostly just seeing our kids, seeing our scholars running around on the playground, hanging out, having fun, being together. That's really what it's all about. It's really what drives our motivation for the work that we do and getting up every single day for the 3,000 students and families of this district. It's what drives us. And so I want us to continue to capitalize on that positive energy. We have more back to school nights that are scheduled for next week. So we're looking forward to spending that time with the board and with the community, again, showcasing the great things that are happening at our schools. And so one final thing I want to share is that we had a really great time yesterday. Superintendent and staff, cabinet, we had our first, what we call our pizza lunch chats at Beardsley. And so what we did is we showed up at Beardsley yesterday and we ate lunch with the staff. And so we went there with a dozen pizzas and a couple of cases of soft drinks. And my team, we just sat and just connected with the staff. With our classified staff, our teaching staff, our administrators, our leaders, our students. And we learned so much about each other by just having like a cafe conversation, where people went to college, when they got married, what schools they went to, what years they graduated. We had an interesting conversation about when people graduated from high school. And some people wanted to share, and some people not so much. But the point is that it gave us an opportunity for people to authentically connect with one another and just share a meal and just spend some time just getting to know each other a little bit better. And that's another one of our kind of whirlwind tours, if you will. And so next week, I think we're picking that up at Royal Oaks and Maxwell. I think next week we'll be doing those pizza chat lunches, which we're certainly looking forward to. So with all of those things going on, there's just a lot of positivity in this school district, and I want to continue to help foster that and keep that energy moving along for the district. And Madam President and members of the board, that's the conclusion of my report.
Thank you, Dr. Emerson. Dr. Hillman, I will suggest you to tell the superintendent the next time that he goes to the other schools to please bring some salad too. I think pizza is not, the best. I mean, it is good, but if you add a little bit of salad, it will be healthier. Huh?
We did have veggie pizza.
That doesn't count.
But duly noted, we will have ensalada. We will.
The salad is just for decoration when the pizza's around.
Thank you, Dr. Finley, thank you. Okay, we now move to request to address the board. If anyone in the public like to address the board, we have yellow cards somewhere, and we have a very short agenda tonight, so you still can do it right now if you like. Otherwise, I will continue now. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of July 18, 2022, and the regular meeting of July 21st, 2022. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Figueroa, second by Mr. Bell. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next item of business is the adoption of consent calendar. Does anyone want to remove any item for separate discussion or action? Since none, then no objection. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Dr. Finley, second by Mrs. Carroll. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we move to item number, okay, I need a motion for reading of approval of policies. Second reading and approval of policies. May I have a motion? Motion. Motion by Mrs. Carroll, second.
Second?
Second by Mr. Bell. Discussion. Dr. Anderson, I'd like to hear a little bit about this. I know we approve a lot of readings, first reading and second reading, and sometimes I know some parts, and sometimes I think that we need to let the community know about it. Please.
Yeah, absolutely. So just in general, when the board approves policies, these are the governing acts of how we operate, how we do our business. In many cases, these board policies are adopted. They may be adopted at a statewide level, they may be adopted more on a local level, or they could be, in some cases, uniquely and independently adopted at the specific district level. This particular policy, the Uniform Complaint Policy, is a policy that simply articulates the specific ways that we have to go through and investigate certain issues, certain items. And the interesting thing about the Uniform Complaint Procedure and the policy is most times people are familiar with a uniform complaint when it has to do with harassment, discrimination, things that are things that you would put under a protected class. But the Uniform Complaint Policy, also a procedure, also covers many other aspects. It covers things like adult education, it covers, I believe, migrant education. It also covers things like teenage parents and school-age parenting. So what it basically says is that you have to protect these groups and you have to follow a formalized process in order to investigate that. So that's really what this policy is and what it articulates. But again, policies in general is how we govern the work that we do. It guides the decisions that we make. It gives us positions to take and say what we will and will not do as an organization. And so that's just a little bit of information about the policy.
So that kind of protects our students?
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there is any other question or discussion? Since none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye. Educational service, receive for information the quote summary for subscription services with teaching strategies for child development, pre-K and transitional kindergarten, TK. Moving along, I need a motion to consolidate 2022-2023 consolidate application for funding categorical aid programs.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bell. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Figueroa. Any discussion?
Yes, Dr. Emerson, could maybe someone on you or your team kind of discuss just a little bit about what this consolidated application is?
Absolutely, and I can tell you that Dr. Hillman is so excited to share about the content.
Is it going to be the same level of excitement that was at the convocation, is what I want to know?
I'll try.
I'm not sure I can come up with that level of energy at this point, but the CONAP, the Consolidated Application, is a yearly application that school districts apply for federal funding, certain categorical dollars that we can apply for to serve special needs in our district. These funds include Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. There are specific programs that are designed to address certain needs in the district. So this is our way of applying for the dollars, showing how we spent them, making sure we spend them in the year that we receive the dollars, and sign assurances that we're using them the correct way.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bowman.
Any other question for Dr. Hillman? Since now, none, all in favor?
Aye.
This is gonna be a record board member, a record board, yes, meeting. So non-agenda item, board members, I will start with Mr. Bell.
Well, just wanted to say that, Board, I'm really pleased to see how we had a chance to evaluate and measure our superintendent, this last evaluation. And again, I think, thank you very much, Dr. Amerson, for coming out in a real good fashion. The board, to a person, made a great evaluation of what the work that you have done, and I want to say thank you very much for your leadership so much this year. And again, I think you've already mentioned a little bit about how Valley View, Maxwell, and Royal Oaks have a chance to see those. Isn't it great to see the enthusiasm on the campuses again? You know, because we were all banded up and nobody could hardly look at each other. We had a chance to actually see our staff and our students and our community together. So again, it was great to be able to make those visitations. So that's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Mrs. Carroll.
Yes, I was going to say exactly what Dr. Amerson sort of said at the beginning, how exciting it was with the convocation, convocation, I think I'm saying it correctly, but how I felt like going to all the back to school nights at Maxwell, twice Maxwell, we went to Royal Oaks and Valley View. There was a certain excitement in the air with not only the educators, the principals, the parents, and the students. I mean, I got to see teachers that were kind of moved around from the schools in other schools, and they seemed to be really happy. And I got to talk to a lot of teachers that I hadn't seen for a while since my kids were in elementary school, which is nice. So it's surprising that, even with my son being at the high school, I feel like everything's been really smooth. The only thing I have complaints on is the traffic a little bit in the morning, but what can we do with that? So because I think every school kind of starts close to time. So that was the only complaint I have right now. But my son seems to be happy. The students I know that go there seem to be happy. So I wanted to, again, we talk about school, classes at the high school for one thing. We have all these programs. But I think we need to start, especially with the early college program, there was parents who were talking to me, and they don't even know what some of these college programs are. And just saying that some of these are wonderful programs we have. I mean, we have the biology of human genetics, we have the physical anthropology, physical geography. So a lot of times parents see the classes at the high school, but I don't think they really realize all these college classes that they can get for free here through Citrus College, and how great this could be for them, free of charge, and then later saving so much money in the long run, and then students, doing as much as they can. Maybe they don't do the 4 years, but they do 2 years. How much can even help them when they get into, UC school? I mean, it would have helped my daughter. Actually, she would have been graduating this last year if it wasn't for that. So I think advertising the programs, and even the early college programs, because there's more than what parents really see at this high school sometimes. I really do think there's, we have this fabulous thing that we have here at the early college program, and on top of other programs there too. But I'm just trying to specify this because there's a lot of parents that really don't know what we have going on in the school. Just what they see, maybe what the kids are going to, but these additional classes too. And otherwise, thank you again, Dr. Anderson, for everything.
Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. Mr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Mrs. Diaz. So, wow, that's, maybe I can summarize the activities over the last several words by just saying, wow, impressive. Dr. Emerson, as you mentioned, the energy in the room at the convocation was impressive, was contagious, and yeah, everybody took a leadership role, from teachers, from staff, everybody was really engaged. So just really felt like in awe of the energy that was in the room. Also wanted to say, during our last board meeting, we did have a student that came to the board and shared some concerns. I really want to appreciate the follow-up. We have, as a district, as a community, we have limitations. We also have some strengths, as was shared previously by Ms. Carroll, that we do have some course offerings with our early college program and so forth. But just the opportunity to be thoughtful about responding and being able to address those concerns and be able to offer the AP environmental class, I think I appreciate that follow-up in that. Also, in terms of the evaluation process, I've been a board member for a month, so I appreciate the opportunity to be engaged in the collaborative effort. And so, Dr. Emerson, thank you for the work that you do. I mean, the vision that you set at the convocation, the RISE Initiative 2030, it's really energizing. I'm, potentially going to be on this board for very limited and short time. But what I'm really excited to have the opportunity to meet with the board and maybe talk about, where do we go from here in terms of, setting some goals, setting some strategies. So I look forward to those conversations in the next few months. We had one of our directors here, Nella Hoffman, that attended one of our, oh my God, I'm going blank. I just went blank. So, went to our Kiwanis meeting, and there are two things that I walked away from the presentation. Number one, the amount of work that the district is engaged with in terms of addressing the students' educational needs. But number two, just the overall individual needs. Some of our students are homeless. Some of our students go to sleep, hungry. And the opportunity to listen to how some of our staff members at the district are involved with our kids and our students is impressive. It's just, my hat's off to everybody's commitment to our students. I just closing up my comments by again, wow. I attended Royal Oaks, Maxwell, Valley View, back to school night. And what I also walked away with is that all of the teachers are on the same page. The presentation delivery was all very, very much very cohesive. And so, great job. And there's the parent involvement piece, the student expectation piece, but also goals of each of the classrooms that are laid out for the students and the parents. So look forward to Beardsley, MIT, and Doherty High School next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Figueroa. Dr. Finley.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So this start to the school year has been really full of energy. It's been exciting. If you'll indulge me a little bit, I'd like to just share a quick little personal story. I'll still keep it within time, Madam President. So my youngest, Preston, who is at Valley View, friends are really, really important to him, which is great. I mean, his nickname is the friendliest friend, and he just loves everybody. And when Valley View had their night before school started, in which you went there, you found out who your teacher was and who was going to be in your class. And he was really on edge about, okay, are all my friends going to be in my class this next year? And he went up there, looked at the paper, and saw some of his former friends were in his class and some weren't. And his quote to one of his friends who wasn't in his class, he said, "That's okay, we'll still make it great." And that is, I mean, that's the energy that I just felt this whole week was, we're going to make it great. I mean, that is what Duarte does better than any other place that I know. They look at something and say, we're going to make that great. And I'm really, really thankful to Dr. Ingwersen and his team, for our certificated staff, for the classified staff, for everything they did to make this year start so great. And I really think that is, it's a sign of things to come, not only this academic year, but also for the years to come. I mean, I really do feel like this stone has kind of been pushed up the mountain, and we're just giving it one more tap, and it's really going to start to go. And it's exciting to be a part of that. And it doesn't come without tremendous effort and work. But it seems to me, at least, that all of our district employees have that drive and that desire to make that happen. And it just makes me as a parent, not even, I mean, put aside board membership, put aside, me growing up in this community and graduating from Duarte High School, putting all that aside, just being a parent of 3 kids going to 3 different schools here, the sampling I've had so far is just really exciting. And I just commend everybody for the work that they've done to get us to that point. And I'm excited to see what's next, because I know that we'll make it great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Finley. I was talking yesterday about something about that happened at Valley View sometimes, but you mentioned something about a special bell that was for what when you were at school?
Oh, yeah. So I went to Valley View, and for those maybe that don't know where it is, it's kind of right up next to the mountains over there, and there was there's the bell that tells you to go to class, or that it's lunchtime or something like that. But there was a special bell that rang when there was a snake found on the playground. And whenever that bell went off, there was all of the students were supposed to run to the classrooms, and then you had James running out to the playground to try to find the snake, because I really, really wanted to find it. But maybe it was a harbinger of things to come later on in life. But yes, that was the bell that you spoke of, Madam President.
Yeah, I think that it is amazing when a professional vet working in our own city of Hope, remember that, that was in your heart to be a vet. And so, but I love that he shared that yesterday. I also echo everything that you have mentioned today, but I just want to add something. When I hear parents that are very active at their schools, and I saw yesterday a wonderful presentation from the PTA, and the passion that they have to make money, to have better programs, so better celebrations, or something good. So I compromised with the treasurer that I will send the money for what they call the enrollment membership for PTA, and I think it's something that we can do as board members, support our PTA, so PFA, or, PTOs, whatever. I think it is amazing. It is love that parents give in time, that parents give to their kids. So I don't have big bills, but I have singles one, and that equals the same thing, value the same thing, okay? with that, I echo that all the passion that there was given, the love and what it was done at the first day, the teachers' convocation. Thank you. It was just really nice. I wish you could do those kind of presentations here once in a while, Dr. Hillman. And so we will do whatever you want with you, you know, time for.
I don't know what I did.
But with that, Dr. Emerson.
My turn? All right. Again, thank you to the board, thank you to the community for such a great start. Our schools are up and running, things are going really, really well. Whenever you run an organization, there's always challenges. There's always things that we're doing our best to work behind the scenes to make sure that, you know, everything runs on time and everything's running smoothly. And that's the hard work and dedication of this team, of this executive team, of our leadership team, but of our line staff that are at each of our schools. It never falls short on my memory that when I was a high school principal, I was reminded that I was not important. Let me tell you why I say that high school principals are not important. They're super important, but just follow me for a second. The reason that the high school principal is not that important is because if the principal is gone for the day, maybe you notice. But let the lunch lady be gone for the day. Let the office manager be gone for a day. Or let the custodian be gone for a day. Things change when those people aren't there. The school runs even if the principal happens to be gone for the day. So I'm always reminded that the frontline staff is critically important to make sure that everything is running. And so we have to continue to remember to honor them, support them, be there for them as well. My last comment for the night is just to thank the board for your honest, meaningful feedback. As a superintendent, I value the feedback. I value the opportunity to continue to serve and figure out how to execute on the programs, the goals, the vision and aspiration that you have and that the community provides us feedback around. And so I learned a lot. I learned a lot navigating the pandemic for the last couple of years. We learned a lot. We as a community learned a lot about how to navigate these things. Did we always get it right? No, but that's life. We tried really hard to make it great. As much as we could, given the circumstance. And so I look forward to continuing this work with the board and with this team, and looking forward to our next steps, which is goal setting. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emerson, and I'd like to add thank you to Mercedes and to for all the extra work that you did with me this week and this evaluation. And Marcelo, thank you for dealing with all these things and make sure that we look good. And so thank you. I really like to appreciate, thanks to and appreciate the presence of people who are interested and run for the school board. Thank you for being here tonight and to see how we do with our business. So with that, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bell, second.
Second.
Second by Dr. Finlay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Let's go home.